paperback and e-readers this March. John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose. The man who rules the world runs into the irresistible force of a man with nothing to lose in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get the regular and variant cover editions of John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose this March. Over the last 2 weeks, we have had numerous videos presented on YouTube by white feminists, black women, and even some pro-blacks denouncing Kobe Bryant after his tragic death in a helicopter accident that took his life and the life of his daughter Gianna and 7 others. Now, these videos would constitute hate speech under YouTube's brand new community guidelines, which were established on December 10th. However, these videos, which were made in late January and February, still are on the platform and show us all the hypocrisy of YouTube's alleged community guidelines. Now, according to YouTube's own community guidelines on its own website page as related to its hate speech policy, hate speech is not allowed on YouTube. We remove programming promoting violence or hatred against individuals or groups or any of the following based on the following attributes: age, caste, disability, ethnicity, gender identity and expression, nationality, race, immigration status, religion, sex or gender, sexual orientation, victims of a major violent event and their kin, or veteran status. Now, according to YouTube's community guidelines, these videos that are speaking all of this vitriol against the late Kobe Bryant for marrying a Mexican woman and having children with her like Gianna, these videos constitute hate speech because they violate the bullet point of victims of a major violent event and their kin, because the event where Kobe Bryant lost his life would be considered a major violent event, and these people who are making videos literally denouncing Kobe Bryant for marrying a Mexican woman and having a biracial child like Gianna, this again is a violation of the next to last bullet point regarding hate speech on YouTube, and it also violates the bullet point as related to race because it is speaking negatively against Kobe Bryant for marrying a Mexican woman, and it also violates the policy because they speak negatively of him because he is a black man. So on those 2 bullet points right there, we have clear violations of YouTube's supposed hate speech community guidelines, yet 2 weeks later, many of these videos made by white feminists, black women, and pro-blacks are allowed to remain on the platform, and they are still playing. Even worse, many of these videos still remain monetized, promoting hate speech on the YouTube platform, and this is a clear black eye for the YouTube platform, and it's a clear violation of its own policies, which were established on December 10th as related to the new terms of service. Now, I find it quite interesting that these videos are allowed to remain on the platform, attacking the late Kobe Bryant and attacking, in some cases, his daughter Gianna, and no one is looking to call this out because oftentimes many other people who come to the YouTube platform and are just expressing their opinions, these videos get flagged and taken down according to YouTube's community guidelines as related to so-called hate speech violations. And these videos do not, in many cases, violate any of the bullet points I discussed a minute ago regarding age, caste, disability, ethnicity, gender identity or expression, nationality, race, immigration status, religion, gender, sexual orientation, or victims of a major violent event or their kin, or veteran status, many times these videos oftentimes are just people expressing their opinions regarding a subject, yet these videos are flagged and taken down all under the so-called guise of hate speech, but videos that white feminists, black women, and some pro-blacks put up talking about Kobe Bryant in a negative fashion, speaking ill of the dead, and speaking ill of his daughter Gianna, and speaking ill of Kobe Bryant for marrying a Mexican woman. These videos remain on the platform 2 weeks later, and again, this is not only a black eye for YouTube and Google, but it exposes the hypocrisy of the YouTube platform as related to so-called hate speech, and exposes a major flaw as related to many of their so-called trusted flaggers and reviewers, because they allowed hate speech to remain on the YouTube platform, because many of these videos that were denouncing Kobe Bryant for marrying a Mexican woman, these videos are clearly hate speech, and the ones saying that they were happy for Kobe Bryant's passing in that tragic accident, they are a violation of YouTube's policy as related to victims of a major violent event and their kin. And because these people are not only talking bad about Kobe Bryant, and in some cases wishing this man were dead, they were also talking bad about his daughter, Gianna. And again, these videos are filled with anger. These videos are filled with hatred. These videos are filled with vitriol. These videos are just filled with hateful language. Yet these videos, again, still remain on the YouTube platform. And that's one of the most troubling things for me, because if we are supposed to be community guidelines, again, these community guidelines, they need to be applied in a fair and balanced fashion, and I don't see these community guidelines being applied in a fair and balanced fashion, because for these people to participate in these types of hate speech, where they sit there and speak ill of a man and are talking about how happy they are regarding his passing, talking about how happy they are about the passing of his daughter, saying that this man did nothing for his community during the time of his tragic death. This is clearly hate speech, again, under YouTube's community guidelines. Yet these videos, they still remain on the platform. And I don't know what's going on at YouTube, because clearly there people who work there do not understand what their own community guidelines are, and they don't understand what the supposedly hate speech according to their standard is. Now, as an American, again, I believe in the First Amendment and free speech, and I don't believe that we should have any of these kinds of policies in place, because they restrict people's freedom of expression on a platform overall. But when I look at the creation of these policies, again, they really aren't working, because they aren't keeping people from not only keeping this content online, but this content remains broadcast. Meanwhile, people who express differences of opinion, their videos get taken down, and in some cases, they wind up losing their channels as a result. Meanwhile, the same people who speak ill of a man in his passing, they are allowed to remain on the YouTube platform. So there's clearly something wrong with YouTube's supposed community guidelines, because someone can speak ill of a man in his passing, speak hateful statements saying they hate him based on who he married, based on her race and ethnicity, and can speak ill of his tragic death and the passing of himself and his daughter. Again, just shows how arbitrary these policies at YouTube are, and how fundamentally flawed these policies as restricting so-called hate speech are, because these videos are still on the platform to this day, and again, just shows a fundamental flaw as related to the YouTube platform, because if you put all of these policies in place, these policies were meant to deal with incidents, again, like the passing of Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna, and the 7 other individuals who lost their lives in that tragic accident, to ensure that people would not come out here and use the YouTube platform to spout their vitriol regarding this tragic event, nor would it allow them to sit there and make money on these videos, which some of them are, because some of these people actually monetized their videos. And again, this is quite troubling, because again, it not only exposes the flaws in YouTube's supposed hate speech community guidelines, it also exposes the hypocrisy as related to YouTube's supposed community guidelines, because these videos that speak all of this hatred and vitriol, as I see it, regarding the passing of the late Kobe Bryant, I find it again quite troubling that these videos still remain on this platform, because these videos promote hatred of Kobe Bryant, and even worse, some of them promote hatred against his daughter Gianna, someone who was 13 years old and could have done no harm to anyone. And for these videos, again, to be on this platform and are allowed on here the same way Logan Paul was allowed to still remain on the platform, even though your Logan Paul violated YouTube's community guidelines as related to today's current hate speech guidelines and the previous hate speech guidelines, by sitting there and making light of a man's passing who was hanging in that Japanese forest. It again shows that there is just the so-called community guidelines as related to YouTube are arbitrary, and the enforcement of these guidelines are arbitrary, and there really needs to be a complete overhaul as related to supposed YouTube community guidelines and the as I see it, archaic flagging system, because we really need to create a environment where people can be allowed to have their free speech, their freedom of expression, and have that freedom of speech and freedom of expression as related to the First Amendment of our United States Constitution. If you'd like to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. And if you want to try some of my SJS Direct publications, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, ISIS, the Beauty Myth. Learn the beauty secrets of the goddess next door in this action-packed ISIS series adventure. Get ISIS, the Beauty Myth at online booksellers everywhere today.